Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining me on another study through Job. We're going to be picking it up from chapter 38 where we left off. And this is where it starts getting really extra deep. This is when the Most High starts to answer back to Job and his friends. And this is the point where people start getting extremely humbled here. And it's important for us to understand this because I don't think there is such a thing as living a life on this earth without sorrow and hardship, and a lot of people tend to blame the Most High for that. They say, you could change it, right? But we're really not understanding the big picture here. And again, I know this is easier said than done. I have been through hardships. I've blamed the Most High. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've never done stuff like that when I have. So I'm not here to, call the kettle black. I've been the pot before. So, just saying that we really don't have the full picture here, and we really don't have a leg to stand on to point our finger at the Most High or act like we know better than him. We just don't. So anyways, let's get into our study here from chapter 38. And YHWH answered Job out of the whirlwind. By the way, if a tornado is talking to you, that's already pretty darn scary right there. And said, "Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge?" Right off the bat here, the first sentence we get, we're without knowledge, right? We really, truly are. Remember, the wisdom of this world is foolishness before Yah. Right, he catches the wise in their craftiness. We just don't know. We literally we're like, there's a reason the scriptures describe us as children, right? Any of you that have ever had children, you know that a toddler is without knowledge, right? They have no idea, and they want stuff that is very bad for them, and that's like, I feel like that's like us, we're just a little bit older. But we do the same stuff before the Most High, like we might as well be toddlers before him. We have no understanding. We don't even know ourselves, right? Like, I know my kids better than they know themselves, right? I'll be like, no, you don't even like this. Why do you want it? You don't like this food, right? So, like, I know and they don't know, but they want it, right? And then you give it to them and they're like, I hate this, and it's like, I told you, you didn't even like it, right? So it's the same type of thing, right? He knows us better than we know ourselves, and we most certainly do not have the knowledge that he has. That's why I'm saying, like, Judgment Day is going to be rough, like really, really rough for all of us. I think the full weight of really understanding what's going on, that's when it's going to hit most people, and it's better to humble yourself than to be humbled before the Most High. So let's get those heart postures right, people. But anyways, Verse 2, "Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now gird up your loins like a man, and I ask you, and you answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if you have understanding. Who set its measurements, if you know? Or who stretched the line upon it? Upon what were its foundations sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and the sons of Elohim shouted for joy," it's talking about the angels, by the way, "or who enclosed the sea with doors when it burst forth and came from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment and thick darkness its swaddling band, and assigned for it my law and set bars and doors and said, this far you have come, but no farther. And here your proud waves stop. Have you ever commanded the morning and caused the dawn to know its place, to take hold of the corners of the earth, and the wrong be shaken out of it? It is changed like clay under a seal, and they stand out like a garment, and their light is withheld from the wrong, and the arm lifted up is broken. Have you come to the sources of the sea, Or have you walked about in the recesses of the deep? Were the gates of death revealed to you? Or have you seen the gates of the shadow of death? Have you understood the breath of the earth? Declare if you know it all. Where is the way to the dwelling of light and darkness? Where is its place, that you should take it to its boundary and know the path to its home? Do you know? For you would have been born then, and the number of your days been many. Have you entered into the storehouses of snow, or have you seen the storehouses of hail, where I have kept for the time of distress, for the day of fighting in battle? Where is the way that light is divided, or the east wind scattered over the earth? Who has cleft a channel over for the overflowing water, or the way for the thunderclaps? To make rain fall on land where no one is, a wilderness in which there is no man, to satisfy the wild and waste places, and to make the seed of grass sprout. Does the rain have a father? Or who has brought forth the drops of dew? From whose belly comes the ice, and who gave birth to the frost of the heavens? And this is just like, when I'm reading all this, it's just wild. It's just truly wild. You know, all of these, we still don't have an answer for. Right? Like modern science, they can tell you like how hail's formed or why it might rain, or, you know, but they can't really understand it. They don't know how it is that way. And this is what we're reading. You don't know how the way any of this is. Right? And we can't. The smartest person on earth could not know this stuff. They can't. Right? They can have theories, they can have conjecture, they can make up dribble to explain away this or that, but they don't know why it works. They don't know why or how it works or how it became that way. They just know that it does. And then they make their excuses. All right. So again, the wisest person on earth is not going to have a leg to stand on before Yah on the day of judgment. Just saying. Verse 30. The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. Do you bind the bands of Kimmah, or loosen the cords of Kessel? Do you bring out the constellations in its season, or do you lead the bear with its sons? This is interesting too. You know, it talks about setting up the stars and the luminaries and the constellations, and in all of recorded human history, they haven't changed. They haven't. And if modern science, if you can even call it that, because they don't follow the scientific method, testable, observable, repeatable. That's what the scientific method is, and most of the stuff they're pumping out to you does not fit that bill. The bill that they created, ironic. But if they're right about the Big Bang and galaxies flying bajillions of miles, you know, away from each other, right? Like they say the Earth spins 1,000 miles an hour, right? While revolving 50,000 miles an hour, while all that's spinning 500,000 miles an hour, while all that is moving an unknown amount of speed away from everything else, because the Big Bang, if that's right, constellations should be changing every single day. Every single day. And guess what? They don't. They don't. So, just throwing that out there. Verse 33. Do you know the laws of the heavens, or do you set their rule over the earth? Do you lift up your voice to the clouds so that floods of water cover you? Do you send out lightnings, and they go and say to you, here we are? Who has put wisdom in the inward parts? Or who has given understanding to the heart? Who has wisdom to count the clouds, or to tip over the bottles of the heavens? When the dust hardens in clumps and clods cling together. Do you hunt the prey for the lion, or satisfy the appetite of the young lions? When they crouch in dens, sit in the cover of their hiding places, Who provides food for the ravens when its young ones cry to El and wander about without food? Chapter 39. Do you know the time when the wild mountain goats bear young? Or do you observe when the deer gives birth? Do you number the months they complete? Or do you know the time when they bear young? They bow down, they bring forth their young, their labor pains are ended. Their young ones are thriving, they grow up in the field. They shall leave and shall not return to them. Who set the wild donkey free? Who loosed the bonds of the wild donkey? Whose home I have made the desert, and the salt land his dwelling. He laughs at the commotion of the city. He does not hear the shouts of the driver. The range of the mountains is his pasture, and he searches for all that is green. Would the wild ox be pleased to serve you, or spend the night by your feeding trough? By the way, it says that even the animals and the stones will cry out to the Most High. So I don't think we have a leg to stand on. Verse 10, if you bind the wild ox in the furrow with ropes, would he plow the valley behind you? Would you rely on his great strength, or would you leave your labor to him? Would you trust him to bring home your grain and gather it for your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich flap joyously, but it is not the pinion and plumage of the stork. She leaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in the dust, and she forgets that a foot might crush them or a wild beast tread on them. She treats her young harshly, as if not hers. Her toil is in vain without fear, because Eloah has made her forget wisdom, and did not endow her with understanding. When she lifts herself on high, she laughs at the horses and its rider. Have you given the horse strength? Have you covered his neck with a mane? Would you make him leap like a locust? His splendid snorting is frightening. He paws in the valleys and rejoices in strength. He gallops into the clash of arms. He laughs at fear and is not frightened, nor does he turn back from the sword. The quiver rattles against him, the glittering spear and lance. He eats up the ground with fierceness and rage, and he does not stand still because of a voice of a shofar. At the blast of a shofar, he says, "Aha!" And from afar, he smells the battle, the thunder of commanders and shouting. Does the hawk fly by your wisdom, spreading its wings towards the south? Does the eagle mount up at your mouth and make the nest on high? It dwells on the rock and lodges on the crag of the rock and the stronghold. From there it searches out the prey. Its eyes see it from afar, and its young ones suck up blood, and where the slain are, there it is. Chapter 40. And Yahuwah answered Job and said, should a reprover contend with the Almighty? Let him who reproves Eloah answer it. And Job answered Yahuwah and said, see, I am insignificant. What would I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I have no answer. And twice, but I say no more. Then Yahuwah answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, now gird up your loins like a man. I ask you, and you answer me. Would you also set aside my judgment? Would you pronounce me wrong, and you be declared righteous? Or do you have an arm like El? Or do you thunder with the voice like his? Deck yourself, please, with excellency and grandeur, and put on esteem and splendor. Scatter abroad the rage of your wrath, and look on everyone who is proud and bring him low. Look on everyone who is proud, humble him, and tread down the wrongdoers in their place. Hide them in the dust together, bind their faces in obscurity. Then even I would confess to you that your own right hand does save you. But now, see now, Behemoth, which I made along with you. He eats grass like an ox. See now his strength is in his loins, and his power is in his stomach muscles. He bends his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are like tubes of bronze. His ribs like bars of iron. Some people think might be describing a dinosaur here. I don't know. Could even be a creature that we are unfamiliar with. I wouldn't doubt that. A lot of stuff's been hidden on this earth. Verse 19. He is the beginning of the ways of El. His maker brings near his sword. For the mountains yield food for him, and all the beasts of the field play there. He lies under the slender trees, under cover of reed and swamp. The slender tree covers him with their shade. The willows by the stream surround him. See, if a river rages, he is not alarmed. He feels safe. Even if the Jordan gushes into his mouth before his eyes, shall he be caught with snares, or his nose pierced? Chapter 41. Would you draw out Leviathan with a hook, or snare his tongue with a line which you lower? Would you put a cord through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Would you keep on pleading with him? Would you speak softly, or would he speak softly to you? Would he make a covenant with you to be taken as a servant forever? Would you play with him as with a bird, or leash him for your young girls? Would trading partners bargain over him? Would they divide him among the merchants, fill his skin with harpoons, or his head with fishing spears? Put your hand on him. Think of the struggle. Do not do it again. See, any expression of him is disappointed. He is laid low even at the sight of him. No one is so foolhardy to wake him up. Who then is able to stand against me? Who has given to me first that I should repay him? Under all the heaven that is mine, I would not keep silent concerning his limbs, or his mighty power, or his fair frame. Who shall take off the surface of his skin? Who approaches him with a double bridle? Who shall open the doors of his face with the frightening teeth all around? Rows of scales are his pride, closed up and binding seal, a binding seal. One to the other they fit closely. Jeez, getting all tongue twisted, you guys. All right. One to the other they fit closely. Not even a breath enters between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together, and all are not separated. His sneezing flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go firebrands. Sparks of fire shoot out. Out of his nostrils come smoke like a boiling pot or kettle. His breath sets coals on fire, and a flame goes out of his mouth. Some people describe dragons here. Think talking about dragons. Interesting. A lot of stuff to kick around here. Obviously, there are animals that have been hidden from us. There are things that confirm the Bible that have been hidden from us. You know, all we got speculation at this time, but I believe this is real. Verse 22. Strength dwells in his neck, and fear leaps before him. The folds of his flesh cleave together. They are firm on him, immovable. His heart is as hard as stone, even as hard as a lower millstone. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. Because of the crashings, they are bewildered. No sword that reaches him. Oh. My phone is about to die. I thought I remedied this earlier. Apparently not. I'm sorry, you guys. 1 second. Hopefully, this is working. Well, hopefully you guys are there. For some reason, my phone does not seem to be charging. All right, I hope it doesn't die on us. Nothing I can really do about it. All right, so let's just get in what we can get in. And if our study dies in the middle of this, I'm sorry, you guys. I will do my best to make it up to you next week. All right, let's keep reading from verse 26. No sword that reaches him does prevail, neither spear, dart, or lance. He reckons iron as straw, bronze as rotten wood. The arrow does not make him flee. Sling stones become like stubble to him. Clubs are reckoned as straw. He laughs at the rattle of a lance. His undersides are like sharp potsherds. The word's killing me today. He sprawls on the mud like a threshing sledge. He makes the deep boil like a pot. He makes the sea like a pot of ointment. He leaves a shining path behind him. One would think the deep to be gray-haired. No one on earth is like him, one made without fear. He sees all that is haughty. He is sovereign like all the sons of pride. All right, let's see if we can wrap this up. Chapter 42. And Job answered Yahweh and said, "You know that you are able to do all, and that no purpose is withheld from you. Who is this that hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore I declare, but I did not understand, matters too marvelous for me, which I did not know. Listen, please, and let me speak, I ask you. Then would you make it known to me? I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes." And this is Job talking. Like, think about what he's been through. And after he was questioning the Most High about this. And remember, the Most High said he was innocent and blameless and didn't deserve this. After he was questioning the Most High about this and getting upset with the Most High about his situation, like finally when he broke, right? It says this, like, I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. Like, he realizes the true weight of this situation, and how he really has no right to speak against the Most High, even though he didn't do anything wrong. And that's something that we could all do for a little learning. Verse 7. And it came to be after Yahweh had spoken these words to Job that Yahweh said to Eliphaz the Temanite, "My wrath is burned against you and your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as did my servant Job." Right? So all their banter about, hey, you must have done something wrong here. Right? They got pretty humbled for that. Verse 8. And now, taking 7 bulls and 7 rams, to go to my servant Job and offer up an ascending offering for yourselves. And let my servant Job pray for you, for I accept him, lest I punish you, because you have not spoken of me what is right, as did my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite, so far the Namathite, went and did as Yahweh commanded them, and Yahweh accepted the face of Job. And Yahweh turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends, and Yahweh gave Job twice as much as he had before. And all his brothers and all his sisters and all those who had been his friends before came to him and ate food with him in his house. And they sympathized with him and comforted him for all the evil that Yahweh had brought upon him. And they each gave him a quesita, not sure what that word is, quesita, and each one a ring of gold. And Yahweh blessed the later days of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep. That's a lot. And 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. And he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Yamiah, and the name of the second Quisia, and the name of the third Kurenhupuk. And in all the land were found no women so beautiful as the daughters of Job. And their father gave them an inheritance along with their brothers. And after this, Job lived 140 years and saw his children and grandchildren to 4 generations. And Job died old and satisfied with days. Now, again, hopefully my phone doesn't die here, but there is a lot to get from this. If you are suffering, if you're going through a rough time, or if we're in the end times, like I'm pretty sure we are, and we all are going through suffering, there's a lot for us to remember in the book of Job. This is the book about righteous people suffering. And remember what it says in Peter, like it's better to suffer for doing no wrong and being in righteousness than to, suffer the right ruling of your wrongdoing, right? We want to walk in righteousness, and we may have to suffer for that in this world. Like, think about this. This is just a picture of Yeshua, right? Yeshua did nothing wrong, like absolutely nothing. Job would probably look like a terrible person compared to Yeshua, like by comparison, And it's just like he died because of wicked people. He did nothing, absolutely nothing wrong. And he had to suffer in this world. And he suffered for us, right? So everything that is in this book recorded for us is a picture and a shadow and some level of wisdom and understanding for us to get. And when we really realize the weight of the situation, like there's just in suffering, there's no leg to stand on against the Most High. And I know like the world has taught us to defer to anger against the Most High, but there's just no reason for it. And really, like even a blameless man who did no wrong understood that he had no right to talk against the Most High. And he was going through much worse stuff than any of us probably have ever gone through. I mean, he lost everything you could lose. Everything you could lose. And then when he was down, like, people were kicking him, like his wife and his friends, kicking him while he was already down, while he had lost everything and even lost his health. And he had no right to talk against the Most High, and he understood that. So there's just so much to learn from this, and I pray that I learn and remember this as much as you do when we're going through the hard times, because we can't talk against the Most High. We have no knowledge in the situation. We really don't know what is going on. So till then, we just need to trust in the Most High. If we really want him to be our Elohim, be our Heavenly Father, we need to walk in the footsteps of Messiah Yeshua. And Messiah Yeshua, look what they did to him. And because he was walking in righteousness with the Most High. Right? The world's going to hate us if we try to walk in his footsteps. But, again, the end of this is something that we still can't possibly understand. We don't understand what's waiting for us on the other side, but we have to know it's there. And we have to have faith in that when things are rough and we're going through it. And we have to not, defer to our pre-programming from the world that it's all his fault and that, you should do this to me. Whatever people want to say about the situation. But I think you guys get where I'm going with it. We just shouldn't, we should realize that there's a bigger picture here that we don't understand. We're little baby toddlers with little understanding compared to what the Most High knows. And sometimes, we have to go through it and we might not know why now, but I'm sure we'll know later. And you know what? It might not even matter later. Right? When we're in the kingdom, when we're in a world full of righteousness, probably none of the junk that we went through in this life is going to be any thought on our mind whatsoever. But anyways, get off my soapbox here. Either way, just remember, trust in the Most High when you're going through suffering. Do your very best, and I am going to do my very best, because if we are in the end times, and I really truly believe we are, things are going to get rough for us, the people who want to actually walk in the footsteps of Messiah Yeshua and fear and keep the commandments of the Most High. The world is coming after us. So stay strong. Trust the Most High in suffering. Do your very best. And Yah be with us all. I love you guys. I hope you got something out of this study. I'm not sure what the next one's going to be, but I'll let you guys know soon. Thank you again for those of you that have been with me through the whole book and read it and got something out of it. And defer back to this book if things get rough. So anyways, I love you guys. I hope to see you on the next one. And may the Most High bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you wonderful peace. In the name of our Messiah, Yeshua. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon. Yah willing, of course.